Every now and then I see posts where people ask, what do you feed when the snakes hatch too small for even a pinky head? Well, that's what I'm going to show you. This is some frozen thawed fresh salmon. And it's actually important for me, and possibly for you. I'm going to keep all this lovely salmon juice because that is the #1 scent that works for us, for stubborn feeders. Nothing too fancy to it, just cut the end off and there you go. You know, I got a couple of very eager dogs to help with the cleanup. Too bad, it's so sad. There you go, squeeze a little out like a sponge. Next up, gonna use these lovely handy kitchen scissors. I'm gonna be cutting this up. This is obviously way more salmon than I'm gonna need for 7 baby hogs that are they're all under 3 grams. The smallest one I believe is 2 grams even. I have had them so tiny they don't register on a scale. The rest of this will be a nice treat for some of our other hogs and the garter snakes. This is not the best food for long term because you're not getting the whole animal, you're not giving whole prey nutrition. So there's no bones, there's no organ meat for the vitamins, calcium, and other needs. But just to get a baby started enough to grow enough to be able to eat whole prey, this stuff works fine. Most of my adults love a salmon treat, so I'm gonna cut several pieces. Here for the garter, he could probably handle this. I'm gonna go with a couple smaller pieces here. I'm gonna cut this one vertically again to make it a little thinner. There we go. Because these guys are incredibly tiny. There we go. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna cut this up a little bit. The next thing I'm gonna try, by the way, after the salmon will be sardine. Straight from the tin, that is, here, I'm gonna cut it this way. Sardine that's only in water, never in oil, and it's nice and stinky. Here we go, these are some nice little salmon chunks. That's way more than I need for what I'm feeding today. So the rest of this is just going to be cut up for my hogs. This is a little male anaconda at Lavender. You can just see his head is very, very tiny. I'm just going to grab him a little chunk of salmon and put it right about here or so. I start them on paper towels just for their first shed and meal, just to make sure everything is working properly in their digestive system. So I might pull this a little forward so it's not so close to the heat. There we go, and I'm gonna leave him alone. This little one is about 1 gram smaller, a little bit more than that than the other one. Another male anaconda getting a little tiny chunk of salmon just to see if he'll eat. This one is smaller still at 2.8 grams. Getting a little soak there. Come here, let me move you to back here so you can see. I know, I'm sorry, that's offensive. Now let me give this one a nice chunk of salmon. A nice chunk that is barely gonna register. These do not register as lumps the same way that a pinky will because it's such soft flesh. So you just look to see if it's gone. This one, this little, so tiny I can't tell the gender, little tiny lavender. It's hard to tell in this lighting because lavender looks terrible anyway when you're trying to record or take pictures unless you have the proper lighting, which obviously this is not it. So I'm going to give this little one that I think is a boy a little bit of salmon. Finally, we have this one here. Hello. 3.6 gram hatchling. And we will see if anybody eats.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And behold, the first baby is eating his salmon. Good job, little dude. This one's just about done swallowing their salmon. Another baby taking their salmon. And I'm going to slowly close this so as not to disturb.